Hello everyone, Bertina Amy here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would do 5 Halloween Dollar Tree and Thrifted DIYs. The first is a Dollar Tree DIY Gothic Pumpkin Wreath. Using this Dollar Tree ribbon for now $1.50, as you can see from the markings there. Alright, so I roughly went ahead and off camera folded this in half both ways. It does have wire within the ribbon, so to me that's enough. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to go ahead and start getting this on here like this, and then I want to make sure that I manipulate this enough to where my folds are always facing me. So I'm going to take that same ribbon and I'm going to start wrapping, and I'm going to do it in my new method. So the one from the left is going to go over and under, over to the right, over and around, and the ribbon on the right is going to go towards the left but then over the other ribbon and under the bar and over, and then we're just going to repeat that same pattern until we get to the very bottom of this wreath. Alright, so towards the end here, I'm just gonna pull the ribbon from the right side, or like go from around and then over the bar below. And then for this one, would probably make more sense to go the other way and go through like this. So I'm just gonna pull the ribbon through another time to kind of cover the bar. And then I'm going to turn this around and just trim off the excess. Just add some hot glue. And then I'm just going to add some hot glue here. And then just kind of hold that into place. Just kind of trim off the excess there. Fold it upon itself and add a little bit of hot glue there, and then just kind of hold that into place. Wrap it like this, and then right over left, always going under the bar on the left, while always going over the bar on the right. The back really isn't going to matter, and on top of that, we're going to be covering this up with florals, so don't stress too much on this like I did, as this was my first time doing this version of this project. Place this here and start wrapping it like so. Okay. And then this one we're going to maneuver, and then we're going to go right over left, wrapping it like I've done in the past videos, or my original wrapping method, just right over left, and then pulling through, and we're just going to go around the outer bars. And I do want something like that, to take some pool noodle I already have on hand. This one's already got a slit in it, and I'm just going to cut it off camera. So here is the cut piece, and I'm just going to place this over the bottom bar. There we go. Take some scrap of this ribbon and just wrap it around here so that I could extend where I glue or attach leaves. And here's the final result. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next is a Dollar Tree and Thrifted DIY Gothic Halloween centerpiece. Okay, so for today's video, I thought I would use the second piece I got from Goodwill for $3.99 here. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this sticker. Alright, so I got as much of it as I can, as best as I can for the moment. I will deal with this at a later time. Refer to 2 bars as like a panel. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so here's my ribbon folded in half both ways, but only kind of roughly, like only towards like the actual middle. And I just want to start ribbon wrapping this right away. So I'm going to just start by getting this wrapped on here. And I'm purposely accepting that I'm going to do one over one on the right and the other one going under and around, and then making sure the fold is always facing me. And then I'm going to pull it through. So we're taking the ribbon from the left, going under the ribbon from the right and over the bar on the right. And the ribbon from the right is going over the ribbon on the left and going under the bar on the left. I hope that makes sense. And I'm basically going to repeat that process till I get to the bottom. All right, so we're coming up on the end here. Fold it like this because I don't want to have the scrap stuff. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out. And hot glue there. And then we're going to repeat this on the other side. So these are the maple leaves in the floral section with the Halloween florals. And unlike the fall decor version of this, I'm not going to be wrapping this with scrap black burlap here ribbon because honestly, I think it looks better without it, or as close to realistic as possible given that they're full leaves. And then I'm going to add just some more glue underneath the leaves and then push it down because I want this to stay put. And no project's going to be perfect no matter what you decide to do anyway, but I just kind of wanted it to look like more branches are growing out of it. So I think I'm good with the top. And then I cut to size a piece of pool noodle to put underneath. And I don't know if this is a bad idea, but I think it should be fine. So I'm going to just wrap this around the bar because I want to add elements of the florals so that it can match as closely to my wreath as possible. All right, so it's nice and snug on here. So I did cut it down to size just right, or fall decor. But in any case, I don't think I'm going to need a whole lot. And I got to be careful because if I want to put any sort of flame, I have to be careful of where this goes. I have 3 different ideas of what I'm going to put on the stand. But, you know, I'm not going to glue this down. So in case I need to remove it, that's another option. Which of these 3 ways would you choose to decorate your centerpiece? A, B, or C? Let me know in the comments below. Next is a Dollar Tree DIY Halloween Witch Hat Wreath. So I made this video last year and I'm not seeing this Witch Hat Wreath in stores this year. Comment below if you are seeing it in yours, but in any case, I think the reason may be because many of them seemed broken last year and even mine couldn't avoid that. But I did make this wreath form work for me anyways. In any case, I go ahead and start with my old way of a ribbon wrapping decor method. So I do apologize for being off frame. I was still kind of working the kinks out of that with my new setup at the time. But in any case, you're going to wrap it similarly as in the past videos. However, you can definitely experiment with different ways of wrapping it on there. Either way that you go about it, it is going to stay in place without any hot glue being added. But in this particular case, I'm just going to wrap ribbons going over the outside bars and then under and around, and then making sure the right ribbon goes over the left every time and making sure to cover as much of the black bars as I possibly can. I decided to wrap the brim of this hat going sideways instead of the same direction as the rest of the hat. Then I make sure with a little bit of excess going down from the top to the brim, I make sure to glue it to the back of the brim. This ensures that broken or not, it's going to stay attached and very well. Then I decided to take this purple and turquoise velvet ribbon from Dollar Tree. They only gave it for like a yard, but I used the whole yard to just create a design along the hat near the brim. And I decided to go ahead and use both the colors and layer the purple one over the turquoise. I stitch it down the middle using a pipe cleaner, and I embellish it with a mix of faux spiders, including a mix of a spider from one of the floral sets I got and the spider rings with gems. Also, from some of the floral sets, I got bats that I wanted to use to decorate this hat with because it had kind of a metallic look about it. And then I chose to use the rest of the purple gemmed spiders, and I cut off the ring portions, and then I just wanted to place them where I'd like them to go. And then I took the witch boots that I think are really pretty, and I decided to attach them along the sides on top of the brim of this hat. And I simply just took some pipe cleaners and I strung them through either side of the hat and through the back of the shoe, or boot rather, and just twist tied them in the back of the wreath, and also did it at the base of the brim as well, connecting it to the heel or bottom of the boot. Then, of course, I needed to hang it, so I went ahead and strung one more pipe cleaner through the very top of the hat to give it a handle to hang off of a wreath hanger. And here's the final result. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next is a DIY Dollar Tree Halloween pumpkin centerpiece, using one of those small little pumpkins they always carry every year. So first, before you start anything, make sure you test out to make sure that the lights actually work by placing batteries inside. Then when you make sure it does work so you don't have to exchange it, then go ahead and start removing the fabric. I personally really love these Halloween ribbons that are really narrow. I'm not sure the sizing of it, but they're purple and they got kind of like that spider web look about them. And rather than worrying about folding them in half lengthwise, I'm just folding them in half directly so that way I know exactly where the center is. And I go ahead and do ribbon wrapping around the bars of this particular piece so that I can get a similar effect, but I wanted it transparent anyways, so that way the light actually shines through the ribbon. And the original light will easily come right out as you're maneuvering with it, and that's what I discovered in this very first one that I did. Then I do the rest of the quote panels off camera, and then I look for ways to redecorate it using some elements from the original pumpkin as well as some stash of elements that I have on hand. And I keep playing around with it, including different cuts and different materials, like the velvet ribbon that they had last year and some Décor mesh and whatnot, just to make sure that I was happy with it. I kept playing around with it and adding to it until I was totally happy. And then eventually, once I cut down the thickness of the velvet ribbon, I realized how much better it looked. And here's the final result using a regular tea light in comparison with a dragon eye tea light. And last but not least, a DIY Dollar Tree Halloween Witch Pumpkin. So for this centerpiece, I just basically use the exact same process as doing the previous one. The difference is I use this sort of lime green shade of transparent ribbon that I found from either Joann or Michaels, which I believe you can find at Michaels at this point. Then I picked up these black roses from the Halloween floral section and decided to use the stem of the florals to help wrap it around the center part of the bottom of the pumpkin so that it would create sort of a bed in a sense for the pumpkin itself, but it kind of makes me think of the topmost portion of the Wicked Witch's dress, like a collar or something. Then I go ahead and wrap and glue the excess of the green ribbon around the sort of handle of this pumpkin as well. Feel free to cut the excess off, but I chose to just glue it on because I didn't want to just throw it in the trash when I have no purpose for it anyways after this. Then the next step, of course, is to go ahead and cover it up with some more decor, and I have all this excess black leaves, and I thought it would be perfect to cover up the topmost part of this pumpkin, and it actually kind of reminded me of the witch's hair, so I thought this was perfect. So I go ahead and use as much as I can without overwhelming the entire project. Then off camera, I go ahead and make a DIY miniature version of a black flame candle. Then I go ahead and attach a witch's hat from the Dollar Tree, and then I place the black flame candle at the bottom of this DIY project, turned it on, and here's the final result. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please let me know in the comments below which of these 5 projects was your favorite and which variation of the projects were your favorite. So now I'm excited to announce that I am currently selling personally designed t-shirts based off of my upcoming book, The Cancer Dragon. If you were to ask me honestly, the idea for this logo came from my DIY Cancer Dragon wreath. To me, there's something to be proud of in becoming a Cancer Dragon Slayer, and I really hope my journey inspires you. These shirts were created with all of you in mind, and I was so happy with the design that I wanted to make it available for anyone who feels connected to this journey. The basic gist of it is, I became diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, got pregnant during fertility treatments, refused to abort, despite my doctor's warnings that I'd die at birthing my child. For book updates or to support me, scan the code or click the link below. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.